Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to JB Snackbowl Sports Blog. I am your host, Jair Brooks Davis. Today, we're going to give a very nice rundown of things going on in Boston sports. Then later on, I have a bonus feature about things going on, especially in baseball, especially since the season is coming up. Last night, the Bruins lost in preseason to the Detroit Red Wings, and their season begins October 3rd. I also have my insider host here, Bradley Lewis, today. He's also going to talk about different things going on, primarily with the Sox, the Celtics, along with the Patriots. So, Bradley, today we're going to start out with the Patriots. So, yeah, this past Sunday, very brutal, right?
To say the least, the defense couldn't tackle much of anything, and the offense couldn't get open. They double-teamed Gronk almost every single play. They double-teamed Dorsett nearly every single play, and Chris Hogan couldn't beat one-on-one coverage. So.
And Josh Gordon didn't even play this Sunday, right?
Didn't even play. Had a hammy issue.
26-10. What do you think is going on with the Patriots?
Just a lack of talent. Just a general lack of talent. We're paying Dwayne Allen $3.5 million a year to be a blocking tight end. We're paying, I think one of the most, if not the most, for special teams in the NFL, and just don't have the right bodies at the moment. We have giant, big linebackers that can't cover the run, can't cover the pass, and leaves to Matt Patricia running all over the Patriots.
How hard is it for you to swallow the loss of Matt Patricia and the Detroit Lions?
I mean, yeah, right. Former coordinator.
Yeah, he had you all figured out too, right?
Yeah, I mean, he played it right. He, like I said, double team Gronk. That's what you got to do. Triple team Gronk sometimes, and that's all you really need to beat the Patriots nowadays.
And LeGarrette Blount came back to haunt you, right?
LeGarrette Blount was not the issue. It was Kerryon Johnson, the rookie, who had over 100 yards. First time, was it 3 years at Detroit Lions?
Yep.
Running back, ran over 100 yards.
Yep.
He's something special. He had the most rushing yards in the SEC last year. He's going to be good.
Okay, Bradley, I want to know, Josh Gordon, as we know, is a Patriot. Didn't you also acquire Corey Coleman or something like that?
They've acquired a couple of guys now.
Yeah. What happened?
They already dropped Coleman for Josh Gordon.
Didn't they acquire somebody else?
They acquired Benny Fowler. They're trying out Jeremy Curley, I think yesterday. And who was the other person? I don't even remember now. It seems like every day they're either trying out or just signed another wide receiver just to plug and play and see what happens. They need Edelman back badly.
Going into this game, this upcoming Sunday against the Dolphins, how do you feel? Especially because the Dolphins are 3-0.
Yeah, and their offense looks fairly high-powered, but I think it's a lot of trick plays right now. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to sustain it the entire season, but it should be interesting to say the least. An undefeated Miami team trying to get one up on the Patriots in the division. The Patriots go 1-3. This is going to be a hard hole to dig out.
Oh, yeah. And your old boy, Danny Amendola.
Yep.
It's coming for you.
He's coming for me?
Not for you, literally. Not for you specifically. Not you, Bradley Lewis. He's coming for your Patriots is what he's coming for.
I mean, Amendola hasn't been too much of a game changer for Miami too much. It was that Ryan Grant, who's I think is going to be the main issue. And then Devontae Parker, who is just a big body, and look for him to get a touchdown this week. We'll see.
So, big week. You know, you don't want to be down in a 3-1 hole, you know, just like maybe Cleveland Cavaliers. Who knows? Maybe you all can come back. Anyways, going on, well, speaking of the NBA, Media Day has gone on this past week for various NBA teams. The Celtics, you know, seem pretty confident this year.
Yeah, as they should be.
What do you think about Kyrie Irving's comment about the Celtics will be in the finals or the Celtics will win the finals? I think he said that they will be in the finals, or no, that he's confident that the team can beat the Warriors. How do you feel about that?
Barring a major injury, I don't think they have much of a chance of Celtics over Golden State.
Really?
Right now, yeah. I mean, if it was last year's Golden State, that'd be one thing. But they acquired Boogie Cousins, who's going to be fully healthy by February, and he's just going to be an absolute force. I mean, they have Al Horford. I'm not sure Al Horford can box out Boogie if he's healthy.
I don't think he can necessarily do so, but I think if I were to pick a team in the Eastern Conference to actually go to the NBA Finals, I would pick the Boston Celtics.
They're easily the most talented.
I also think that your team is so deep.
Mm-hmm.
We all know the starting lineup of Kyrie Irving and, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and Gordon Hayward and Al Horford.
Yep.
But you still have Terry Rozier coming.
Yeah, Terry Rozier. Still got Marcus Smart.
Yeah, Marcus Smart at the 2.
You got Mr. Nice, Daniel Tice coming too.
Daniel Tice has been pretty good. Yabusele, and you also have Marcus Morris. Marcus Morris
He's a force defensively and can shoot an occasional 3.
And now that's going up. Now you have Kyrie with Curry. You have Brown with Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
Klay Thompson, we're always going to say is the better player, but I think that Jaylen Brown holds right now. But I think that he holds I think Jaylen Brown has better athleticism, maybe more than him. Yes,
There's some place that Jaylen Brown just jumps higher than everyone else and just lays it in.
Yeah, but I think that in a few years, Brown could be the better player.
Oh no, absolutely.
Yeah, and then you have.
I mean, Klay Thompson is a little limited. He's just a 3-and-D guy.
He's a good mid-range jump shot. He could do a lot. He could drive if he really wants to.
You think his handles are there though?
It's where it needs to be in that Golden State system.
Well, yeah,
it's where it needs
Steph
to be.
Curry, who's probably the best ball handler in the league right now.
I will go with Kyrie. I will say Kyrie Irving is the better ball handler than Stephen Curry.
Fair enough.
Now we all know Kevin Durant better than Jason Tatum.
Right.
Or Kevin Durant. But we'll go with Hayward at the 3.
Yeah.
Better than Hayward. Better than Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
Green and Tatum.
It should be an interesting matchup.
I mean, I'll give Draymond Green the edge, maybe because he's more experienced.
Well, it's the position they're going to play too. I mean, Draymond Green is. I mean, we'll see how Tatum. He says he's put on 7 or 8 pounds of muscle. See if he can even box out Draymond Green with his big legs and his long arms. And hardly anyone can box out Draymond Green.
Yes. Well, they also start preseason tomorrow against the Hornets too.
Nice.
But I really want to get into this. What about the Raptors? Do they pose a huge concern to you?
I mean, yeah, why not? They're the second best team in the Eastern Conference right now.
Well,
they have Kawhi now.
Well, they're predicted.
They lost DeMar DeRozan.
DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah.
They added Danny Green, another good defender.
He is good.
So what?
He can run the point pretty well too. Pretty underrated.
Danny Green. I mean, Danny Green. He's a shooting guard, small forward. I would say maybe he could bring up the ball.
Yeah.
Who else do they have? What? OG Anunoby, CJ Miles, Serge Ibaka, and Jonas Valanciunas.
Kyle Lowry.
And Kyle Lowry.
Starting point guard.
I think. Okay. Do I think personally that the Raptors are better than the Celtics or can contend with the Celtics? It's all up to Kawhi. Did you ever see Game 1, Golden State versus San Antonio, 2017 Western Conference Finals?
Yep.
Did you see? He was a one-man wrecking crew.
Oh yeah.
If in a best of 7,
he was the best player in the league on that night.
On that day. Okay, then yes. I had to think about that one for a second. I had to think about maybe LeBron. But I will say to be the Warrior to be beating the Warriors single-handedly, and Tony Parker was out and Tim Duncan was retired, and you're playing against Kevin Durant and the Warriors, and you're winning by over 20.
Right.
Then Zaza Pachulia strikes right under you.
Right.
I mean, it's you're probably the better player in the league. I would actually go with that. I would go with that. What about the Lakers? Do you think that they pose a huge threat to the Celtics right now?
To the Celtics?
Yeah.
They're in the Western Conference.
Finals potentially. Who knows?
I don't see them getting past Houston or Golden State now.
Did you hear about Houston being on the lines, or being on the phone with the Minnesota Timberwolves?
For
Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler.
I don't know. I think he's a perennial loser. If you're asking me the truth.
Can you explain that to me? Can you elaborate?
He puts
on
up stats. He's a good shooter. He's just a loser in the locker room, if that makes sense. He's a cancer to his team. He's always he brings that bad attitude to nearly every team he's been a part of.
That's a very cutthroat thing that I think that it's very. Would I want him on my Knicks personally? Yes, I would.
On the Knicks, yeah. Who else do they have?
Yeah, but I mean.
Yeah, Tim Hardaway Jr.
Yes, but what I
Chris Thompson's even come back next year.
Yes, but what I do want to say is that I think that what you said is actually a pretty decent point, because even when he played in Chicago, he and Dwayne Wade were benched, had to come off the bench for a game because of some comments that he said about the young guys and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and even Rajon, remember Rajon Rondo was on that team? Rajon Rondo was on it. Even Rajon Rondo put out that post that said, "My veterans would never do that. My veterans would never call somebody out."
Okay. Then.
Jimmy Butler, I mean, I think maybe he needs to prove himself in the locker room and have a better attitude. Who knows? Throw him, Tom Thibodeau, throw him to the Heat. Throw him to the Heat. Let's see what he does there.
Maybe.
I would throw him to the Heat. See what he does there. But as for the Celtics and as for the NBA, I would really predict that it's going to be Golden State or Houston versus the Boston Celtics, and I think that the Celtics have a very bright opportunity.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, though, Bradley, we have to go into break right now. I am going to talk about baseball for the second half, and we will come right back.
No, I'm gonna have some cookies in the meantime.
Oh yeah.
Why don't you ever see elephants hiding in trees? Because they're really good at it. Yeah, I get it.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. Yeah. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Got a quarter?
What's Beethoven's favorite?
Hello, good afternoon. and welcome back to JB's Snackbowl Sports Show. I'm your host, Jair Brooks Davis, and this is my guest here, Bradley Lewis.
It's a bit of a bulls in this case, in this show, but in any case.
So we started off with basketball, football, and a bit of some hockey. Now let's just jump into baseball because,
course.
you know, the end of the season is coming.
October.
So, yes. So, Red Sox, how are you feeling going into, you know, this upcoming week?
I feel just about the same when I was on your show last week. I do think the bullpen is a little bit better. Stephen
Okay.
Wright came out of the pen as a long-term reliever. I don't think he gave up any runs. Off the top of my head, I don't think he did. And then Ryan Brazier has showed up. That was your first name written down on the bullpen. I was impressed. Good call by you.
Now, going into the ALDS, I said before that I felt that Nathan Eovaldi should have been the fourth starter, the game 4 starter, in case if there is game 4.
Right.
I think I think that he would be better suited over Eduardo Rodriguez. And at first, not a lot of people agreed with me on that. But after his past 2 outings,
Right.
you know, he showed up. How do you think about Nathan Eovaldi?
Completely agree with you. That's the reason why you got him at the trade deadline, for another good arm, either out of the bullpen or in your rotation. And that's the whole reason why you got him.
And do you know what I've also noticed? I've looked at his stats both against the Yankees and the Oakland Athletics. He has done well against both teams.
Right.
He has done well against both teams. Now, Bradley, who would you rather play in the ALDS?
It's a little hard for me now because Didi Gregorius might be out for the rest of the playoffs.
But I've heard that he's
gonna power through it.
Yeah.
But what percentage is he
let
at?
me tell you something.
It's torn cartilage in his wrist. You can't exactly
But
fix
even
that.
if he is out, never sleep on those people in the
that
Bronx.
power.
It's not just that power, whether you're Aaron Judge or John Carlson. Do not sleep on what those people in the Bronx can do. They put something in that water. They put something in. They
Well,
will
when
always find a way
Right.
to show up. Remember, I
That's
will,
if they show up.
if they show up, they will always find. I will never.
in
for-
Yankee Stadium,
Do you-
they'll always show up. I think.
That's why I want Oakland to have home field advantage for that wild card game.
Yeah, that'd be
Look,
huge.
if Oakland has home field advantage for that wild card game, either team that wins that wild card game is gonna have to fly all the way back to Beantown. Gonna have to fly all the way back to Beantown, and then they're gonna have to end up playing against the Red Sox at Fenway Park.
Right.
You
game
know,
one
I think that
against Chris Sale.
against Chris Sale, I'll get into Chris Sale right after that. But if you fly back into Beantown, you know, that's gonna be a lot of travel. I'd rather, you know, if I were you, I would be hoping that Oakland could pull through and have home field advantage for that wild card game.
Obviously, obviously.
I would be hoping for that. You know, especially for the traveling purposes. You know, coming from New York to Boston, that's not
traveling nowadays is a lot better than what it was 30 years ago,
Oh.
20 years ago. at
Yeah,
that rate.
but still, I'd rather take the traveling. You know. I also think that it kind of sucks that you are going to be playing against the Yankees for your last series, especially if
I mean, it draws ratings.
Yes,
but
it's going to draw rate. It's supposed to be Lynn versus Porcello tomorrow night, Happ versus Rodriguez on Saturday, and Brian Johnson on Sunday. I don't know who's supposed to be going for the Yankees.
let's see what E-Rod does against that lineup too.
Yeah, I think
That's gonna be the
I think
biggest takeaway from
yeah,
this series.
that's going to be pretty
And
big.
see if anyone else in the bullpen can step up.
Yes, and I also think that it would be smart for Alex Cora to have pitchers and relievers on simulated games. They got to, you know, I think that he knows what he has to do. Plus, he's won a championship before with the Red Sox, and I think that he's done very well as a manager so far. As a player, yeah, as a player. But he won a championship with the Houston Astros.
He did.
Last year
As a batting coach.
As a coach.
Yep.
Bench coach, batting coach, third base coach, something like that.
Bench coach, I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But manager of the year. Hats off to him.
More than
Stepped
likely.
up.
Chris Sale.
Shoulder.
I think that he's got to tighten it up a little bit. Cool.
What do you mean by tighten it up?
He's got to find his way. He really has to find his way. I think that Chris Sale, I'll be a little bit concerned about him after last night's performance against Baltimore. I'll be a little bit concerned.
Baltimore of all lineups.
But you know, yeah, that's why. I mean, you know, I'll be a little bit concerned. I would have him throw in simulated games. And if I do not like what he's seeing, if I'm Alex Cora, the chances are is that I would strongly consider Price in the game one, or I would.
In game one?
In the game one, I would strongly consider it if I do not like.
I don't even know what Price is going to give you in the playoffs, so. He's been, fair credit to David Price, he's been good recently, but Chris Sale is your ace. You got to start Chris Sale in game one.
Well, if Porcello is going on, if Porcello is going tomorrow night, then maybe I would give Porcello a look or two. But primarily right now, I would stick to Chris Sale. But then after, like, you know, I need to see what he gives out in a simulated game. Threw almost 100 pitches in like what, 5 or 6 innings, five innings or something. You know, he's got to really find it right now. You know, and you know, that's how I think that the Red Sox are going to be all right. But you know, I'd like to give a special mentioning to the New York Mets.
Yeah, big report from the New York Mets.
Yeah.
Your New York Mets.
My New York Mets, all
about,
right?
Mr. David Wright.
David
your
Wright.
best third baseman in your history.
Yes. I like to say a special, I mean, like, this is maybe not special, but I like to just point this out. You know, David Wright, you know, he's been a good guy in the New York area.
Great leader.
Sure. You know, I wish you the best. I'm just tired of the David Wright talk, though. I'm a little bit tired of it.
What is the talk, though?
Every single Mets fan gives David Wright a little bit too much credit, I feel. That's how I feel.
What do you mean? Like recently?
Yes. Come on.
He hasn't played in 2 years?
But look, David Wright has not played in 2 years. I'm tired of him being...
I think less than 220, I think, right? Something like that. Not good. Not good.
Bradley.
$20 million.
Bradley, it is time for him to retire now. I am not feeling that sentimental. I'm not feeling that sentimental about it. David Wright has had a good career. Mm-hmm. He's done nice things, but I'm just tired of him being celebrated. He's a 7-time All-Star, 2-time Gold Glove winner, 2-time Silver Slugger. The last season the last season that he played 150 games or more was in 2012. In 2012, I was in like middle school. I'm tired of him being celebrated. And I think that it's time to move on. And this is what I do think. The Mets fans these days, thinking of him as the captain and this big, huge guy, this is the reason to why we are the way of how we are. Because we don't have much to celebrate. We just celebrate him. I think Mets fans care way too much about celebrating him than I think about being successful as a team.
Mm-hmm. I could definitely see that.
That's how I feel. When David Ortiz retired, that's different. Because he was producing.
Yeah. He was still batting 280. He still had 30 home runs.
He was producing and he was bringing in championships to the city of Boston. Mm-hmm. But what has David Wright done? He has wasted our time and money.
You mentioned them before the show started. You mentioned them before the show, and I was like, didn't David Wright already retire? And you're like, no.
Oh, no, David Wright has been here. I cannot, you know what? It's time to move on. David, you know what? I wish you the best of luck. I think you should have retired a couple years ago. You know.
Bad back. You can't play third base.
Yeah, you know, have fun on your last weekend, though. It's gonna
Don't even know if he's going to play, right?
He's supposed to play September 29th.
Oh, okay.
Have a good weekend, David. You know, and Jose Reyes, as a Mets fan, thank you for everything that you've given. Bradley, it was nice to have you back in here again.
Of course. Anytime, Jair.
Yes. I appreciate it a lot. Anyways, everybody, thank you for taking a look at JB's Snackbowl Sports Show. I hope you all can tune in again and have a good week and go Red Sox.
Go Red Sox. Cookie time.
Cookie time.